Hi, this is Helen Lane at the FIT Library, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at Kantar Advertising Insights. Kantar Advertising Insights is a database that allows you to track trends in advertising expenditures. It also allows you to create custom reports on advertisers and where and how they are spending their advertising dollars. When you first arrive at the Kantar site, you're presented with a dashboard of information. And the majority of the screen is taken up by this advertiser watch. And this is where Kantar is tracking top advertisers, media, properties, and also categories in advertising. This data can be manipulated. You can change the measurement of it. You can look at different time frames, and you can also export this to PowerPoint or an Excel document. You can change the way it looks as well. So we can turn it into a chart, or we can just look at it like a spreadsheet. But what most students do is they come here to create custom reports. And there are a couple of ways to approach that. If you're wondering where the custom reports are, you can find custom reports that have already been produced over here in this box that's labeled Custom Reporting. And this box, you may have seen me click on these two tabs here. It's comprised of specs or specifications and results, in other words, the resulting reports. There's also a button that says New, and clicking on this will help you lead you through the steps of creating your own custom report. Now, before you create a custom report, it might be nice to look at one, right? So, you see here, this says Helen's Coca-Cola, and this was created by me. And if I wanted to run this report, I would just click on the arrow, and I would run a new report that I could pick up. I can also go in and edit the report, or clone it. I can do a lot of different things with it. Under results, we actually see two different versions of Helen's Coca-Cola, and that's because I ran the specs twice, once initially and a second time after editing. Now, stay with me because this is important. Let's take a look at the first sheet that I produced. So I'm going to click on the little dots, the ellipses, and I'm going to say, let's view as PDF, because that's an easy way to view something. Let me scroll in a little bit here so you can see. So in this report, I had everything organized by parent, brand, and media. And then there was just 1 year I was looking at, which is a little funny because this would have been great for doing a year-to-year comparison. Now, the way I organize this, you really sort of have to scroll down, and you have to take note of where the advertising expenditures are. So network TV, Spanish language TV, internet display, and so forth. It's not really great for seeing how the brands compare to each other. It's better just as sort of a snapshot of totals spent by brand. So let's take a look now at the other report. So I went in, I changed the specifications, I ran the report again, and this is the same information but now presented differently. Okay, so here we get to see the difference between Cherry Coke Vanilla and Coca-Cola Cinnamon and Coke Zero, and it's side by side. Some of the categories are now abbreviated, but it's easy enough to understand. And this is telling you in millions. You would add 3 zeros to anything you see here, sometimes in hundreds of thousands, how much the spending was. And there's one little category over here on the next page, which would be newspapers. But most of it was on one page. So you can see the same information can be presented in two different ways, and you need to think about how you want to set up your custom report. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at producing a custom report. Back here on the Kantar page, as I said, you can click on New to create a report. Just so you know, you can also go in through Explore and click on Create a New Report. it's all useful to know. So I'm going to do it this way, the shortcut way, create new. And that takes me to an interface where I'm literally setting up how I want my report to look. Now, something you should know is that you can do these steps in any order. Personally, I prefer to do them backward. And I think that has to do with making sure that I'm finding the information first and inputting the information that I want to search for before I decide on how I want it to look. The way they have it set up is sort of you're saying how you want it to look. They're asking you for the sorts and the measures and what you want in your columns. I like to figure out, first of all, what it is I'm looking at and what's in the database before I decide what it looks like. But you can do it either way. I'm going to show you my way. So when I say do it backwards, I'm going to go to the last of these and I'm going to go to time period. And on time period, I'm going to choose that I want to look at a particular year. I want to look at 2020. And I can just add that to my time periods. But you can see there's lots of other ways that you can look at time period. I'm just recreating the Coca-Cola report. Next, I'm going to go to brands and categories. Let's talk a little bit about that. Brands, obviously, you probably know, you've probably already done the research on the parent company if you're even in here looking into advertising about a particular brand or product line. Category level, categories would of course be types of things. So Coca-Cola is a beverage. It's specifically a non-alcoholic beverage. Category language can be a little tricky. So when you do category searches, I'm going to show you a trick in the second demo of how to discover categories by researching brands, because sometimes the categories are obvious and other times not so much. But right now, let's stick with doing a parent and brand type report. So these things are marked off already, which is nice and useful. And I'm going to put in the name of the parent company. Coca came up before I even could finish typing it. And I'm going to select parent. And when I select parent, it's going to grab all of the things underneath parent that are checked off here. So it's going to grab all of the brands. So selecting parent, I'm going to add it to my search. Now I could go in and look for another brand if I wanted to, but right now I'm just doing all of the Coca-Cola brands. Now that I have my brands added, I'm going to go to Media Markets, and I'm going to select all media in the US total, no local markets. And that's all I really need to do on this page. And then finally, I'm going to do my layout. What do I want it to look like? So I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to say New Coca-Cola. So creative with names. And say how I want it organized, brand and parent. And you can see these went into the columns. I'm sorry, parent and brand rather. Now what we want is we want to see the media going across the top, right? So the sorts are more like the rows, to be honest. The measurement is in dollars. Then the columns, we only have one time period, so that wouldn't work. So we want to see the media across the top. And we didn't select particular markets, etc. So we want to see the different types of media in columns that we can look at as a comparison. So now that I have all of this selected, I can click Run. And then it tells you that your report has been submitted and saved, and it tells you to go to Report Results for Status. You can also go to Explore and find report results, and you also can go home. So if we go home to the dashboard page, you can see in custom reporting that this is in existence, right? Now when we click on results, it tells you that it's still running, and sometimes you have to wait. Now while we wait for this report to run, I'm just going to show you a little trick. if we go to create a new report, of course this is one of the ways to do it, and let's say we want to do a category report, but we're not really sure how something is being categorized. Remember, you can do this in any order, so I'm just going to go straight to brand and categories to show you a trick. So let's say, for instance, I know that there is a line, there are several product lines in the Great Lash Mascara brand, right? So Maybelline Great Lash Mascara comes up when I search, and I can click on this, and then if I want to discover how it's been categorized, I'm thinking mascara, duh, but I can drill to the category. And I find out that it's actually categorized as eye mascara, okay? And I can click on this and then select all in eye mascara, or I can drill from eye mascara to particular brands or parent companies. So I can sort of drill back, and now I'm seeing all of these different mascara brands, excuse me, not mascara, but eye mascara, that I could choose from if I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison of competitors' advertising expenditures. And I would just select the ones that I'm interested in and add them to the list, right here. I'm just doing stuff here. Not saying this makes any sense, but just to show you, you select them and add them. So let me see if our report has finished running yet. And lo and behold, there it is. New Coca-Cola has finished running. When I click on results, there it is, and I can open it up as a PDF. Ta-da! My report. If you need help, visit fitnyc.libanswers.com.